Hello guys, and welcome back to another Tweaker Man video. So in this video I'm making an isolation table that I've wanted to make for a while. Well, I've already made several of them in the past, but I thought I'd show you how to make one of these. So the main core product of this is this honeycomb paper. Okay, so this is super lightweight but really rigid, and this is IKEA packaging. Now you can buy this online, which I'll put a link to in the description below. You can buy this, but if you're ever going to IKEA and you're buying flat pack furniture, this is a packaging that comes inside it. Now it comes in different thicknesses, so I've got other thicknesses here of it, and then even more thicker pieces. Now I keep all these for this particular isolation table. So this isolation table is very good for, say, more lightweight pieces of equipment. So this would be very good for a phono preamp. This big piece here would be very good for a sort of medium weight turntable. It does actually take a hell of a lot of weight, but I wouldn't put anything too heavy on it. So all we're going to be doing today at the beginning of this video is to sandwich this product in between two pieces of 4mm plywood, and then we'll be edging it round with a piece of another piece of wood to edge round it to hide up the seeing the material in the inside, and then we shall finish it and then put some isolation feet on the underneath of it. So let's get cracking on this. I'll show you how to do this, the first part of it. So what we need to do first of all is we've got a brush here, and we've got some PVA adhesive. So what we want to do is we want to pour our PVA adhesive all over this paper product. Now this will really bond to the plywood, and what we're going to do afterwards is, once it's all dry, we shall trim it down on our saw. So really want to spread the glue out, put plenty of glue on it, and always make it oversized so you can trim it back. Now this is brilliant for absorbing and taking any vibration away from your system. It really is. So you want to make sure you've really covered it well. You want no bubbles or there we go. Take it all over there. Right, I think that's that. So all we're going to do now is just to turn this upside down and put it onto our piece of ply there. Okay, press that down. Give it. Can give it a rub joint by rubbing it a bit like so, rocking it backwards and forwards. That'll really take it, make sure it's bonded down well. It doesn't matter if it's not totally square on there, because we're going to trim it up afterwards. So that's one side there. So we're going to do the same on the other now. Really good. Now once this dries, it goes extremely rigid and strong, and the best way to, I mean, there's several ways of doing isolation. You either have real heavy mass, so whatever enters it tends to take it away, or you have it lightweight and rigid, and I always find this is a very good way of doing it. And this paper product is very good because you've only got very thin bits of paper, and it helps to disperse anything that's coming from the equipment. And I know it's only micro tweaking, but this is what we're all about as audiophiles. We're interested in tweaking and really really taking things to the limit, just to improve, trying to improve as much as we can. And the beauty of doing all this sort of stuff yourself is it doesn't cost that much, so you can really sort of experiment without breaking the bank, which is always good. So we've got that like that. Now we just want to put another piece of plywood on the top of it, and all I'm going to do is press it down like that, and then make sure I put it on there so that both of the plywoods are in the same position. Move that back. So that's that like that. And then what we want to do now is you want to put something heavy on top of it. Just you really need to disperse the weight well. So we've got a few heavy things here, like that, and just put some heavy bits on there just to weight it down. Make sure you disperse the weight evenly across. So we're going to leave that to dry now, and we'll be back in, we'll leave it to dry for 24 hours, and then we'll be back to finish the job. So I've left the board there to dry overnight. Well, it's actually been left for 24 hours. And I've made cut the side pieces to go on, which I'm going to glue around, which I'll show you how to do in a minute. Now this is the inside of the honeycomb piece. Now it's quite sturdy. It's only made of paper, but it's quite strong. The way it's constructed, it's very strong. So let's start gluing this up now, and then I'll show you how to do the rest of it. Right, so what we're going to be doing is more PVA. We want to coat this with PVA along here, and you don't need clamps to do this. Well, famous last words, of course, but I'll show you how to sort this out. You want to don't be afraid to put loads of glue on. The more the better, because what we're going to do is we're going to veneer this piece afterwards, so it doesn't matter, because we're going to sand it a bit, and then we'll do some veneering on it to make it look decent as well as operating decent. All right. Gook on the end of that. Right, so there we go. That's going on well. Let's put that there, and we'll get that onto that side like so. Now what we're going to do is clamp it initially with a couple of sash clamps just to hold it in place. And then so bring it near the table there. Just going to give it so much glue on there. We need to wipe the glue off. Need a bit of cloth. We'll take that cloth there. Use a bit of cloth just to wipe the excess glue away for a minute. Right, so we need another clamp now for the minute. So what this surrounding edging does is gluing this up. It gives it it just firms the board up as well. Just bearing in mind, this particular isolation table is it's only for a very lightweight piece of gear. This is for the Graham Slee Reflex M. Right, so we've got it like that, and we just give it a little nip up, just to tighten it, just to hold it in place while I do what I do now. So what we're going to do now, just need to take it over that side and just make sure that that's all nicely along the edge there. Right, okay, so that's fine. So we can sand all that up afterwards. Now, just going to use some masking tape here. Just get the masking tape round and pull it nice and tight. Okay. Out of the way. Got to get it into place. There we go. What that's going to do is hold that nice and tight in the middle there. Do another one there. Right, that'll keep that nice and clamped down there. Now we're just going to take one of these off, the clamp off the end now. Off of there, like that. Okay, and now just going to do the same again here on the end with the masking tape. Just to hold it. Probably put that off in a minute. Right, that's it. That's all nicely. I'll do the same with this end. Put that off there. Now, I thoroughly enjoy making these isolation tables like this. Different. I'm constantly experimenting with new stuff, new ideas, and new stuff. There we go. So that's it, nice and tight now. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just sand the edges of that off there. Okay, over on the. There we go. On the sander over there, I'm just going to, just so I can get them nice and flat. Right, so we've got the end here now. Come back round down to here. There we go. Right, so we've got the, we just want to fit on the end caps now. One goes onto there. Just make sure I've got the right ones at the right end. Should be dead square. But... Right, okay. So, I'll do the same again. Quite a bit of glue on again. Always use a brush to brush out the glue. It's nice and easy, and you can just wash the brush out in water after being water-based glue. Right, so we'll get that. Just put it up that way. Put that one on there. It's going to be nice. Same again with this one. And this is just going to tie the whole thing in and make it extremely rigid as well now, because it just helps to make it a lot more solid. It's only 4mm ply. Now, I would always, I mean, this is hardwood ply. I would always advocate using birch ply really. It's just that I've got a load of this hanging about. Birch ply is so much better really in all ways. So what I'm going to do now is just to do the same again with this. Take this over like that. Take it up, pull it over nice and tight. Again. This is a nice easy way of clamping up stuff around the edge like that, and because it's PVA you can sort of manipulate it a little bit just to make sure it's all nice and flush all around, and then we'll put it onto the sander afterwards and just sand it up again. So that'll be left now for a few hours, right? So what we're going to be doing afterwards is, once all that's sanded down, we're going to crisscross some of this birch ply across there to firm it up even more, and it'll be a really nice solid base, and it'll have the lightweight structure of the top to help absorb and take any sort of resonance away from your equipment. I know a phono preamp hasn't got a great deal of resonance in there, but it's all a part of taking things to the maximum if we can. That's the whole idea of this channel. That's why sometimes I get abuse. And as I say, I do all my listening in the dark when it's nice and dark, and I can really focus on the sound. I get myself into a relaxed state, sit there and then listen. I always find you can hear micro differences when you're de-stressed and you're sitting just on your own in the dark and just relaxing, and then you can really pinpoint instruments and hear difference in depths and tonal qualities and everything to do with sound. It's so much better in the dark. Your senses heighten because you can't see. Your hearing becomes better. So that's that. So this is again the honeycomb structure there, and as I say, this is just IKEA packaging. But as I said, I'll put a link to this where you can buy this stuff, but you have to buy a sort of fair size sheets of it, and the thicker you go, the more stronger it gets. So if you need to have you're putting a more heavier piece of equipment on it, you need to go for a thicker one. So this one's relatively, this is about 20 mil thick, I think. But it still does the same thing because it's all pressing down onto only fine little bits. Vibration can sort of flow through it and disperse. So we'll leave that now for probably overnight again, and then we'll be back. Some of these videos drag on for days when I do these because I've tried to fit them around my work as well. So right, okay, I'll see you soon. So I've sanded the plywood edging down so it's nice and neat. This is our veneer, cherry veneer that we're going to veneer it in, and I've also made up the crisscross section. I haven't glued that in place yet, I've just left that there. So let's get the rest of it going. So all I'm going to do is just show you how to veneer the top part of this, and then I shall just crack on and finish it off because it's going to take too long in the video. You've seen me doing veneer veneering in other videos, so especially producing the speakers. So we're just going to cut it oversized for now. You can trim it off with scissors or a knife, it's entirely up to you. Now this is just a load of peel and stick veneer that I've got left over from doing the mini monitors, the first incarnation of them. I haven't had a chance to finish off the rest of the second boxes that are over in the workshop there. So all I'm going to do with this now is to use some heavy duty spray adhesive over the top of the ply here, just to give it a nice base for the this peel and stick veneer to glue to. I mean, this is really just a contact adhesive, really. Spray it on both surfaces, give it a really good coating. And what I'll do is I'll do the sides while I'm doing this as well, so they'll be nice and glued up. Yeah, your bench always gets covered. You could put something on your bench, really. There we go. Give it a really good covering. Right, so we'll leave this to dry now for about 10 minutes, and then we'll glue the veneer on. So left the contact adhesive to dry, so now we're just going to get our peel and stick veneer. It's always never easy to remove the backing on these. There we go, get that off of there. That's it. Right, so obviously cut this oversized. Gonna get our little roller here, roll it on, just offer it up onto the, making sure there's enough around. Thank you, really good. Now, of course, you don't have to do this. You could just glue the bottoms on and just paint it if you wanted to. But because this is going to match other stuff in my AV room, I like to make sure it all looks pretty smart. Right, okay, so now we can just trim this around with scissors after, just to chop it, and then we'll just gently tease it in with a piece of abrasive paper, which used to be called sandpaper, but still is, I suppose. A bit of sandpaper, chop that off around there. I like using scissors to do this. They've got to be sharp, but works quite well. Then we're just gonna, we can trim it back with a knife as well. Okay. Right, I'll just find my knife, whatever I've done with that. Here it is. Okay, so that's that there. Right, so I'll just use a bit of sandpaper here just to sand the edges in a bit. Right, so that's one done. So I shall crack on and I'll be back and I'll show you the rest of it. So I've now veneered it all around, so it's really nice now. Now, this is extremely rigid. That's going nowhere. That is solid, but it's super lightweight. That's what we're after. So now all we're going to do now is just add our crisscrosses over here like so. You could veneer the edges of these if you want, but I quite like that plywood look to it. So this is going to go onto here like so. Going to get it into the right position, so then we can then glue it down. So I've marked out where the crisscross goes with little marks around there. So all we're going to do is just glue this down, a bit of PVA on there. What this effectively does is ties it all in and firms up the base of it. Now, if you're making a bigger version of this, and the reason I'm doing a small version is because I need one for my own system there. You need to rub that in a bit. Now with this, we're just going to give it a rub joint, which means you just rock it backwards and forwards to keep it in place there. Now we're going to need to wipe it, get the excess glue off along the sides. So just get a baby wipe here, wet wipes, just to clear off the excess glue, because you don't want that interfering when it comes to doing the finishing. Now I'm not going to show you how to do the finishing on this, the polishing of it, because just look back on some of my other videos, you can see that as these videos take long enough to do anyway. And if I speed it up, some people don't like it sped up, so I decided just to give you the full video. Okay, just clean all that glue off, it goes. Right, okay, so we need to make sure that's dead in the right place now, and then we can put on our other pieces now. One goes there. One goes there, so we need to get our glue. Put glue on the ends here as well, so we can then press that into place. Now the reason why I'm not putting clamps on this, obviously I don't want to crush the honeycomb centre. Okay, So we're just going to get this into place. And then we'll just set this aside now to dry it. And then we can, then I'll show you afterwards once it's dried. And then we'll just put some little pads on each corner. So here we have the isolation table finished. It's not polished. I'm not going to show you it polished. I'll show you in the AV room in another video once it's all polished. So all I've done there is just rested some little cork corner blocks on there for it to rest on. You could put little oak cones on there. I'd always try to avoid putting rubber as such. I'm not a great lover of rubber. I think it tends to colour the sound a bit. So I'll just pull these off and then we'll turn it over. So they're the little pads there. And there we go. A nice, strong and solid isolation table, but super lightweight on the top, but still extremely rigid. So I hope you like this build. They always take some time. So I think that's it for this video. So thanks for watching another Tweaker Man video. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give this video a like. Don't forget to press that notification bell so you're notified each time I upload a new video. And don't forget to try and make one of these. Cheers.